Okay, so now we're going to do question number 2. So number 2 has to do with projectile motion. And so it's h of t equals negative 16t squared plus 32t plus 10 meters. And t is in seconds. Okay, so the first thing we want to do is find the time at which it reaches its maximum height. So we know that it's going to go up and then down, so its maximum height will be at its vertex because this is a quadratic. And notice it's a negative quadratic, which means it's a downy. So we need, this is question 4a is code for find the vertex. So to find the vertex we need a, which is negative 16, and b, which is 32. So the the t coordinate of the vertex is negative 32 over negative 32 because we multiply a by 2, which is going to give us 1. So in 1 second, it reaches the maximum height at 1 second. And the question says find the time at which it reaches maximum height. So max height at t equals 1 second. So that's part A. Now part B says find the maximum height. So to find the maximum height, we simply plug 1 into the height function. So we're going to get negative 16 plus 32 plus 10, which is going to give us 26 meters. And that is part B. Part C asks to find out when the object, hits the ground. So it hits the ground when the height is 0. So we set our height function equal to 0. And then we solve this using any technique that we wish. So we could use graphing, we could use factoring, if it could be factored easily, which I don't think it can, or we could use the quadratic formula. So we're going to use the quadratic formula. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to factor out or divide out a common factor. So we know that 2 goes into everything. So if I divide everything by 2, I'll get that. And that will make for an easier calculation. You don't have to do that. So we know that A is negative 8, B is 16, and C is 5. And so we know the quadratic formula is x equals negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Okay. All right, so we just plug everything in. So we've got negative 16 plus or minus the square root of b squared is 16 squared. And 16 squared is 256. And then 4 times 5, which is 20, times 8. It's 160. Now it's negative 160 all over 2 of these. So good. All right. Okay, so we're going to get 2 answers. So I'm just going to type these out. You type this up with me while I'm typing it up. Make sure that you all can do this while I'm doing it. So one of the answers I got was t equals negative 0.27. 2 decimal. I'm doing it to 2 decimal places. And the other one I got was t equals 2.27. Okay, so one of these answers is negative, and we can't have negative time, so we don't have to worry about that one. So we know that the object hits at t equals 2.27 seconds. Okay, later on we'll talk about how to solve this if we wanted to solve it using the graphing calculator. But we want to make sure we need to know how to use the quadratic formula. You'll need it in your chemistry class as well. All right, thanks. Question number 2, done.